And again, we are not as close as we were to Gilles de Ferran, but I'm getting more and more courageous as we dive down the inside of Montoya. Welcome back to the Roberto Moreno Kart 2000 season in Automobilista 2, where today we are once again racing on a very unusual temporary circuit as we're here at the Cleveland Burke Lakefront Airport for the Grand Prix of Cleveland. The layout of this circuit might be pretty simple, but you might see some of the best racing here today, as the nature of this being an airfield allows multiple cars to go side by side pretty much anywhere. In real life, this was one of the greatest days of Roberto Moreno's racing career, as he took the win here, his first of 2 wins in the kart series and the first win of his career since 1988 when he competed in the International Formula 3000 Championship. For us, that means that there can only be one target, and that is to replicate what Moreno did in real life and win this race to bring us into the contention in the upper places of the championship after surviving the chaos of Rio de Janeiro and scoring some first championship points. This quest is aided by the fact that Moreno won this race from pole in 2000, which means we will also start from there, which should make it easier to stay out of trouble on a track where trouble can find you quite easily. As you see the remainder of the 27 drivers competing in this race, it is time to go racing at Cleveland. Well, and here we are, coming around the final corner of this very unusual racetrack. It was a fan favorite though, back in the kart era of American open wheel racing, as we go racing for the Grand Prix of Cleveland, and immediately Juan Pablo Montoya gets a better reaction into the turn 1 hairpin. We push him wide, or try to do so. He does the up and under and retakes the lead out of turn 1. Now, every corner of this track pretty much is a 90-degree corner, very wide. We go into turn 2, and then, on that left-hander, Montoya already put a couple of car lengths on us, so not the start we were after, and already we need to make a pass again to go for the race win here. Strategy-wise, though, many things can happen on this track as well. It is expected to be a 2-stop race in terms of fuel. A lot of safety cars or full cars yellows in the first stint, though, might bring us closer to a one-stop strategy, but we need a lot of yellow flag running for that to be the case, as already that has been the first lap. And into turn 1 we get another chance. We make contact with the Chip Ganassi car there. We open the door then for him again on the outside. It was a very late move, and yeah, it did not pay off. No damage to our car, luckily, as Gilles de Ferran takes advantage of that situation as well and takes P2 away from us, while also taking the life of a couple of cones there that are marking the apex of some of the corners, because they are really, really hard to see on the flat surface of this track. With everything being so wide, these cones are really important indicators on where the apex of a turn is. And with this gone now, at least in turn 2, this will make the entry to that corner even harder. Side by side, Montoya and de Ferran go, but for the moment they stay in position, stay where they are. Let's see, third time into turn 1. We try the outside this time, but that just compromises our exit, so not a good idea, as we're trailing the top 2 in this race. Well, and as you can see, it's quite the intense battle there between Montoya and De Ferran. They are really using every corner of this track to try and make a move on each other, as De Ferran just has taken the lead away from the super talented Colombian. In the meantime, we were always quite a bit too far away to try anything, and if it is these half-hearted moves that never work, as we did again there into turn 1, again making contact with Montoya. So we are just not quite close enough to the two of them to properly get into that fight, and yeah, we definitely need to improve that. We were running in just behind them, having box seat to their fight for the race lead here, as we are approaching the end of lap 9 here. As you can see, the tire temperatures on the left hand side, yeah, the temperature's always going through the roof a bit there, through the final corners of that circuit. Yeah, as there is a lot of quick left-handers. I even decreased the pressure in that, the tire pressure for these tires, to try and manage these temperatures, but there is just no... well, it's difficult to manage them. But it doesn't cost us performance. The part where the tires overheat is actually where we are going quite quick. This here is the part where we mostly lose on the cars ahead. And yeah, it's quite well visualized here. And now this is where the tires begin to overheat, but this is also where we usually gain most time on them, because we can just carry that bit more speed through these two right-handers here on towards the part that leads us back to the main straight into the final chicane. This is where they have been going side by side for so many times, and this is where an opportunity could arise for us if they compromise their exit and we get a good run on the main straight. Pace-wise, we are with them over one lap. We're just not close enough at any point of the track where you can make a move, as Montoya has retaken the lead of this race, and we're about to jump ahead in time a bit again, as these two are really relentless in their battle, as we are getting a bit closer to the first pit stop of this race. No full course yellows yet, so I think right now we can definitely say this is going to be a two-stop race. I'll say that quite comfortably, or confidently, as it seems like we're getting a bit closer into that turn 1, which really is the overtaking opportunity of this track. Now, I said at the beginning of this video, pretty much everywhere you can go side by side and you can try to make a move, and this is definitely true on this kind of circuit. But turn 1, this is really the heaviest braking zone, and from far back you can even try something. We did twice, which always resulted in contact with Montoya, but we need to maximize our run through here. Here we struggle a bit, we even get on the grass a little bit. But this is the important one here, and this looks, well, it looks well indeed, but again, I think we're just too far away. Side by side they go into the chicane. Maybe they compromise each other a bit more this time, and they absolutely do. We haven't been that close all race long to anyone. Gilles de Ferran, we might be able to attack him. Ooh, we lift off the brakes a bit there to try and get our car alongside. We do so, but a bit of a moment there on the throttle. De Ferran gets the better exit. There is still an overlap with our car that we have. The inside line becomes the outside line for this corner, and again, De Ferran with a bit of a better exit. Now it's just the other way around. He has the inside at the start, and that one turns the outside then, and he leaves the gap open, and we are very close, very, very close into these two corners that we absolutely love. And even ahead of this right-hander, we get alongside and we make that move past the Ferran. The entire lap, pretty much, we've been side by side. Now, watch the mirrors. Where is he? Having a look around there outside, but that one just worked a charm. Let's just try to not mess it up into the hairpin. Tricky to get the braking right here, because, well, you just don't see the apex. You see it when you get there, but that does indeed look okay. He is close. but not close enough to make a move. Not heavy enough of a braking zone, this one. So up to P2 we are again. And again, we are not as close as we were to Gilles de Ferran, but I'm getting more and more courageous as we dive down the inside of Montoya. This time we don't make contact, but we run wide into the grass. Montoya is through, and there goes de Ferran, and he is through as well. Oh, and this is annoying because it has taken us so long to get past one of these two, and then we get over ambitious. Yeah, I mean, if this is the first video you watch on this channel, yeah, this might maybe still be surprising if you've watched some other videos before. You're quite used to me getting over ambitious after I make one move, and then, well, everything becomes undone as I get a bit too cocky on the brakes. But again, into the final corner. Now this is a new one. We choose the outside line, trying to line something up for the main straight. Gilles de Ferran takes a bit of the wall on the inside with him there. Yeah, I thought actually survives another lap in P2, but Montoya will breathe a sigh of relief now, as he's been put under pressure by the Brazilian all the time. And now there is a bit of a gap for him to enjoy. Now towards our favorite part of the track we go again. But it seems like we are closer to actually making some moves and not just watching what the cars do ahead, kind of keeping the distance. Now we can go on the attack, and we do so again as de Ferran leaves the apex wide open there. And there is a reason for that, because look at that. He takes to the left, into the pits he goes, and so did Juan Pablo Montoya. We still had a lap of fuel in the car, and as is usually the case with these races with refueling, usually you have an advantage if you're the last one to stop. And, well, we have that advantage. Tires still looking okay. Into the pits we go. Very conservative on the brakes. Pit limiter is in. Careful there on the pit entry. But we had a lap more with a very light car, whilst the other two, de Ferran and Montoya, their car is very heavy right now. Let's hope that our pit crew does a good job. Some back markers making their way out on the track again. This will be an issue for later to manage them. Quite the short track, so we suppose we will encounter a lot of traffic later on. Full tank of fuel. Remember, tires are cold now. That was an issue at Long Beach. And out of the pits we go. Quite the unusual pit exit, as well as you see the cars oncoming, and that is Montoya, but we have the better momentum out of the pits. It gets very close, but we take the race lead, and that one lap helped us to get past de Ferran and Montoya. So we're back into the race lead that we immediately lost right after the start, but this is something to build from. And now this time let's try to stay in the lead. Tires are getting up to temperature nicely, especially the left hand tires absolutely will be up to temperature after these two corners. So that is an okay race lead we have now even. So Montoya is not right behind us, putting us under immediate pressure. There are a couple of car lengths as we made that extra lap count there. Well, we move on. We had to navigate through a bit of traffic. We're past the halfway point of this race. And yeah, just over 20 laps to go now. Traffic wasn't an issue till now. Those cars that we passed quite easily. But, well, Montoya is still there. And then this happens. This is because Elio Castroneves in one of the Penske's stopped right on track with a technical issue. So, there is a full course yellow now. I use that to save some fuel. But the issue is any gap that we had over Montoya, that is now gone. And even worse, this is important to make a strategic decision here, because if we pit now, we could take enough fuel to make it back, to make it to the end of the race, but at the same time we would lose track position, and we would lose a lot probably if not everybody comes in. So for now, the first opportunity, just after the full course yellow was called, we didn't go into the pits. There is Castroneves stopped on track. But the thing is, maybe some of them are coming in now. Maybe some of them did, further back in the field. I don't know at this moment. All I know is Montoya and De Ferran stayed out. I prepare because I haven't made my mind up of what I'm going to do. I will decide that, yeah, just as I come towards the pit entry. Because I think we could make it to the end. Then again, do we give up track position? Or even if they pit, do we try to make use of the light car and no traffic ahead? Well, I made a decision, and that decision is to stay out, and at least we will not be caught out by any move from Montoya and De Ferran, as they also stayed out. So this is one problem out of the way for now, at least. One lap later, the safety car comes in. And the next problem is now right there, as we have to manage the restart. And all the gap we had is gone. Out of the final corner we go. We put the power down, and this looks okay. We put a couple of car lengths on Montoya and the Chip Ganassi behind. Into turn one. Don't miss the braking point. Ooh, we'd run a bit wide there, get two wheels on the grass, compromise our exit. There goes Montoya. We kind of block there, moving in reaction. Not the cleanest of moves there. But, yeah, we just get away with it. De Ferran made it past there, and we just stay in the lead after the restart. And again, I struggle through here with understeer, but then through these two corners, we get a bit of a gap to the Ferran, and then it looked quite okay again, and I think we survived that restart quite well. As I cross the line, watch my mirrors, there is a gap of a couple of car lengths, and that should be enough for now. Well, we were coming towards our second and last pit stop of the race. Again, De Ferran and Montoya have been in the pits a lap earlier, so we got another lap of clear running with the light car, which is very, very good news again. This helped us into the race lead, remember? Stop on the marks. This time it will be a shorter pit stop because we don't need a full tank of fuel. Half a tank should be more than sufficient. We're stationary just under 10 seconds. Out we go. And, oh, full course yellow again. So that eliminates any advantage we got, and it was quite a significant advantage. Well then, we will have to manage another restart. Just as I thought, we might have this one in the bag. This race makes it difficult for us again. So, again, pace car pulls into the pits. And through the final corner we go to restart this race again from the race lead. Well, and this time I would say we managed that restart far better. No off-track excursions, no issues, and just 6 laps to go from now on. Into turn 1 we go again, and again this looks quite okay. Very slow, very careful with the throttle application, but this is already the final lap of the race that we enter now. We have a healthy gap to the cars behind, so it is just about a mistake-free final lap. We're taking things a bit more cautious now. There's no need to push, nothing to gain from here, and we're half a lap away from replicating Roberto Moreno's success of the Cleveland Grand Prix of the year 2000. And that one should definitely put us into one of the top positions in the championship fight. And with 7 more races to go, I think it's still all to play for. We achieved what we wanted, and we win the Grand Prix of Cleveland 2000. Roberto Moreno is a kart race winner. And here are the point scorers of this race. Of course, we win when Pablo Montoya retook P2 from Gilles de Ferran, who scored another solid result that should help him in the championship fight. A good result also for Team Green, Paul Tracy and Dario Franchitti. Dario Franchitti so far with 2 DNFs. Finally, some big points scored for the sympathetic Scotsman. And then Forsyth Racing also with a good result, 3 cars in the points. Shinji Nakano also with a good result, and some first points in the championship for him. And of course, let's look at the Drivers' Championship standings. One Pablo Montoya is still the leader, just ahead of Gilles de Ferran. So the battle for P1 in the first stint is also the battle for P1 in the championship race so far. Then there is a bit of a bigger gap to Christian Fittipaldi, Paul Tracy, and we are already in the top 5 with the 2 point scoring results that we had, and with that win today. So this is something where we can build from, although we are of course 22 points behind the championship lead, and with 20 points to offer for a race win, that means still a long way to go to properly take the fight to Montoya and de Ferran. In the Nation and Engine Cups, we help Brazil to the lead of the Nations Cup with the 20 points we scored for Brazil today. Colombia, with only Juan Pablo Montoya, is still second, though only a couple of points behind. The US dropped back a lot there the last races, and Canada is now up to 4th with another strong showing of Paul Tracy. Only Italy now on 0 points with Max Papis, as Dario Franchitti with his P5 result today put Scotland on the board. And in the Engine Cups, it is still pretty close. Ford in the lead, 6 points ahead of Toyota, who are in turn 4 points ahead of Honda. Only Mercedes trailing far back with 6 points, and again today, no points scored for any Mercedes-powered car today. And that has been it with the Grand Prix of Cleveland. Next time, we finally see our first proper regular road course, and this is where I think my strength should lie. So yeah, already looking forward to that next race at Road America. I hope to see you all there. Subscribe to not miss that, leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.